Many instances of paranormal phenomena have been reported in this desolate place. Events that may reflect the area's tragic past.
Through.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Dangerous Podcast, where we talk all things paranormal. I'm Ken James, and this is Jason McKittrick.
Hey, folks, Happy New Year. And
if you can haunt, howl, or dwell in the dark, we want to talk about it. And tonight, we are starting off part one of the Roswell incident.
We're in deep cover mode, at least I am.
Yeah. I'm wearing a backwards cap, which means I'm focused now. That's when things get serious, when you turn it back, you know?
Switch.
Yeah, it's like if you're playing a video game, you lean in, turn the hat backwards.
Right.
I guess. But anyway, before we get into that, I'm going to be bringing you tonight's jump scare. Alright guys, it's been a while since we got one of these, but we had a video submission. My sister-in-law, Stacy, ended up sending me a video from her cousin's shop. It's called Fully Exposed, and that is in New Mexico.
Yeah.
So overnight, the security camera ended up catching what appeared to be a spectral visitor, and the next day a bunch of the crystals were knocked over on the floor, and Fully Exposed is like a graphic shop, looks like a t-shirt graphic shop. And I'm going to be posting this video. I'll play it here. It's a shorter clip. I'm looking at it. It's pretty cool, man. You got that misty human figure floating over that area. It's not a person. Could it be ghosting in the video? I'm not too sure, but I do like it.
You mentioned crystals?
Yeah, I don't know what she meant by that. Maybe it was a typo.
Maybe there were crystals in the shop, and that's where this thing emanated from. They were charged by the recent full moon.
Yeah, the full moon charged the crystals.
Yeah.
Brought the ghost,
cracked it wide open.
But like I said, I'm gonna post it again. It's only a 6-second clip, but they were locked up overnight. This is a security camera. It triggered the security camera to go on and start recording, and we got a nice little blink security cam footage here for you guys.
No, it's fun. It's these ones that they puzzle over on paranormal caught on film on Sci-Fi Channel, and they're like, well, is it or isn't it?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, what I do like about it, it had to have just appeared there, right? Because if it was moving, the security camera would have caught it getting to that point.
Yeah.
So it must have, appeared or came into existence at that one spot and then went away.
Like I said, the crystals were charged by the recent full moon. That's the only possible explanation.
Right.
According to people I know.
Nail on the head from Jay.
My finger's on the pulse.
Killing it.
The paranormal pulse.
Jay's paranormal pulse. Jay's Paranormal Pulse. New podcast coming in 2024.
Yeah, I wouldn't wait for it. Don't hold your breath on that one.
Well, thank you, Stacy, and thank you, Brianna Harper, Fully Exposed in New Mexico.
Yeah, no, that's great. Whoa, Jesus Christ! You know what? I think it's because we're talking about Roswell. I think our position's been compromised.
Yeah. Good thing you're wearing your sunglasses, man.
They don't know who I am. It's not like you used my name or,
Did you hear like a beaming before that happened? Or like?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I did.
These aliens are getting frisky, man. I can't believe they got aliens delivering haunted headlines.
Well, listen, here's the problem with aliens. No. It ain't Zip Zap and Gleep Glorp, because if it was, we would have saw them last night. They would have, flew in, all fucked up because they're always drunk and whatnot, and
stoned off their asses.
Yeah, on some kind of like, I don't know, like intergalactic kind of like PCP or something.
Yeah, right.
But that isn't what happened. We got
Space Coke.
Yeah, sure. You want to see Cocaine Bear?
The movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll see it.
I want to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah. we get these weird shadowy aliens. That's who we get here. We don't get the fun-loving dudes that have been all over the galaxy. They're just having a good time.
Nope.
No, we get the...
listening to classic 90s hip-hop.
Yeah, no, we get the hide in your bedroom and peek around the door frame kind of aliens for this. And apparently they want us to know about the dark slithering creature seen by boat captain near the North Carolina coast, which has been stirring debate as to what is it?
What indeed?
So, can we post the clip? Is that possible?
If I can download it, I can post it.
All right.
We'll try to post it here.
And if we didn't, we'll have to post the link. So, a creature that looked equal parts alligator, fish, and eel has become a subject of online debate after being recorded undulating in waters off southeastern North Carolina.
It's never good when you get undulating.
Well, if you're going to undulate, you might as well do it in North Carolina. The video has been viewed more than 123,000 times since being shared on Facebook on January 3rd by Chasing Tails Outdoors Bait and Tackle in Atlantic Beach.
Hell yeah.
Oh boy, pickup trucks. Something you don't see every day, the shop wrote. Whales or the Loch Ness Monster in the port this morning. Never seen one inside the inlet like this. The 43-second video shows the creature surfacing with a sputter of air, then began slithering like a snake with an alligator-like head sticking out of the water. The head is super interesting. Like, that's a weird-looking head.
That was the first thing I dialed in on. And then the end being the tail. But yeah.
Like, part looks like a gator, and then another look, it's like, is it a manatee? Is it like a dolphin? I don't know.
Yeah, at my first glance, I was like, is this like a skinny hippo, like, head? Like, I don't know. It's weird.
I don't know. So nearly 1,400 reactions and comments had been posted as of January 5th, including guesses it was an alligator, a rarely seen right whale calf. That's interesting. That could be it. A large dolphin or a manatee. Most of these are uncommon in Bogue Sound this time of year, though right whales are migrating along the coast for winter.
It's weird. I'm looking at it now, and it has that hump.
Yeah.
In the mid, so you see the head.
Yeah.
Then you see that hump.
Yeah.
And at the end, you see the tail.
Yeah.
The dolphin-y whale tail.
It could be a right whale because they have a very weird shaped head. Now that is strange. Odd looking head for sure. David Ford wrote on Facebook. That's a gator. You can see the eyes are on the top of its head. Mike Williams wrote. Sorry, Mike. I'm guessing.
Taking a shot in the dark there.
Yeah. Definitely not a gator. They do not swim like that at all, said Katie Johnson.
Yeah, I definitely don't see gator swimming there.
Looks like an anaconda or a boa to me, said Brenda Moody Krieger.
Brenda would know.
Yeah.
Is Moody, was that like her nickname, Moody?
In the trailer park, yeah.
Yeah.
The video
Moody Brenda.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The video was recorded by charter boat captain Daniel Griffey, who says it looked like a baby whale got lost from its mother. That's probably what it was. Wasn't sure at first. Thought it was a group of dolphins splashing around until it swam right beside the boat, he posted. One of the coolest things I've ever seen on the water. Chasing Tails Outdoor Bait and Tackle did not offer a definitive answer. It is located on a barrier island along Bogue Sound. Huh. And that's it, man. I want to go with escaped genetic mutation creature being worked on by the government.
Right.
Not that I know anything specifically.
Yeah, no. I mean, and that would lend its hand in this.
Is that again? The beaming sound? You think we're bugged? Besides these?
Be. Yeah, we might.
That we're broadcasting to the internet?
Yeah, right.
Okay. Just making sure.
Once again, it's a good thing you got your shades on.
Mm-hmm.
Very good thing.
There's no way they know my name. Or where I live.
The sunglasses.
It's the sunglasses.
They block all that. All right, Jason. So, let's go to Roswell, New Mexico.
Let's. Okay, so we've been waiting to get to this one for a while.
We have. we were waiting for the mood to strike right, you know, and we felt coming back because we've been doing remote episodes. And
Yeah.
we were like, I think it's time.
It's time. Yeah, because what did we discuss last time? I was like, it's time for Roswell.
It was the Nephilim, the alien possibilities, and that rabbit hole.
And let me tell you why. Because before we even get into this, this is the one, man. This is the one. There's so much around it, and there's so many facts. There's cover up on top of cover up, but this is the one that like strikes true to me. Like this is the one where I'm like, it feels real. Like yesterday, I had like 10 hours worth of documentaries playing while I was working, and this is the one that I'm just like, if you were to ask me which one do you think where something probably happened, it's this one. Something fucking crashed.
Well, I always look at it this way. There was a couple days where they were like, yeah, no, UFO.
Yeah.
Yeah. And everyone started running their mouths and started telling everyone about it.
Yeah.
And it was real. And then, someone came along and like, shut up!
Yeah.
Stop telling people about it.
Yeah. The people need to know.
Yeah, and they were like, no, they don't.
No.
This is a big desert out here.
Yeah.
We'll leave you where we fucking find you.
Exactly.
Names of Nikki, in the words of Nikki Santoro.
Right. It's scary shit.
It is.
So, in the annals of American UFO history, few incidents have inspired as much fascination and speculation as the one in Roswell, New Mexico. It began in the summer of 1947 at the dawn of the Cold War when the U.S. Army forces sent out a shocker of a press release, right?
Yep.
Announcing they'd recovered a flying disc from a ranch near Roswell. More than 70 years later, the incident remains a defining aspect of the area's identity. The town boasts a UFO museum and research center, a flying saucer-inspired McDonald's, alien-themed streetlights, even an extraterrestrial family stranded in a broken-down UFO on the side of State Route 285. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Looking for a jumpstart. But behind all the UFO mania lies an uneasy truth. The events that transpired that summer are anything but clear-cut, with admitted cover-ups and conflicting explanations. It was a saucer. It was a spy craft. It was the Soviets. And new ones are still emerging.
We love doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Blaming the Soviets for everything.
Right. So, before we get into all the fun, all the bugaboos, all the weirdness, we got to go over...
all the trappings that come along with this topic.
Right. All the trimmings, you know. Before we get to the mashed potatoes, the cranberry sauce, the stuffing, we got to get to what are the agreed upon facts of the Roswell crash. So, sometime between mid-June and early July of 1947, rancher W.W. Mac Brazel found wreckage on his sizable property in Lincoln County, New Mexico.
What do you think WW stands for that he doesn't want out there?
Worldwide. Because he is out there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sick, bro.
Approximately 75 miles north of Roswell, several flying disc and flying saucer stories had already appeared in the national press that summer, leading Brazel to believe the wreckage, which included rubber strips, tin foil, and thick paper, might be something of that ilk. He brought some of the material to Sheriff George Wilcox of Roswell, who in turn brought it to the attention of Colonel William Blanchard, the commanding officer of the Roswell Army Airfield. The next day, the RAAF released a statement writing that the many rumors regarding the flying disc became a reality yesterday when the intelligence officer of the 509th Bomb Group of the 8th Air Force, Roswell Army Airfield, was fortunate enough to gain possession of a disc through the cooperation of one of the local ranchers and the sheriff's office at Chavez County.
Now, that bomb group, that was the only nuclear bomb group that existed in the country.
Japan.
Right? Yeah, that was the only.
Those are the guys.
Only nuclear bomb group.
So this place was under some very tight security to begin with, and it's interesting, fascinating that this is this area, right? This is New Mexico. That whole area. It's like this is where they did. It wasn't exactly here, but where they did the tests that you get talking about. So this would almost be like a magnet if you were to think about it,
right?
For them to show up, for visitors to show up. They're not extraterrestrial. They're interdimensional, and they're already here. So says somebody.
Yeah.
Now, right off the bat, if you were listening to the fucking radio and that came across the airwaves, you'd be like, what?
Yeah.
That would be the day. You're like, holy shit, they found one.
Yeah.
But do you think, like, What do you think the reaction was back then? Do you think it was the same reaction it was today, where we're like, I don't give a fuck?
No.
Oh, there's video and
No.
there's all these complicated equipment.
No, if back then it was a free for all. It had to have been. People at this time, people were enamored. Like we don't give a shit about UFOs anymore. Really, that was the thing then. It was like what we care about right now is night vision, ghost hunting shows. That's and that's tapering off. We're waiting for the next paranormal thing because it was Bigfoot for a while. So
I think aliens is the next thing again. I think we're going to swing back around to aliens.
Well, because all the stuff happened in Congress that we talked about, but in Russia just said they shot down one.
Yeah.
And they showed that video, and they're like, "Oh, someone's like, it's a drone." Why would a drone have that kind of light on it?
I don't know.
Especially if it was running some kind of espionage.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
So anyway, according to that statement, our major player here, Major Jesse Marcel, an intelligence officer, oversaw the RAAF's investigation of the crash site and the recovered materials. Now, it's important to note here that the government changed its story about the Roswell saucer a few times. And that's, you want credibility. Why don't we change our story a few times and threaten people for talking?
Yeah.
That's credible.
Yeah, that sounds like, they're doing their due diligence over there at the government.
Yeah, the government. So the following day, the Roswell Daily Record ran a story about the crash and in the RAAF's astonishing claim. But the U.S. Army officials quickly reversed themselves on the flying saucer claim.
Like, whoa.
Stating that the found debris was actually from a weather balloon, releasing photographs of Major Marcel posing with pieces of the supposed weather balloon debris as proof. You have this very famous, we probably flash it right here because I know it's a disc craze continues, and there's that famous picture of him holding the debris, and the look on his face, he's like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Like, this is not like." He's like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Wow.
Like, the look on his face, he's like,
"This is what we're going?
This is what we're going with?"
Yeah. Okay.
All right, yeah, they'll believe it.
Yeah, the first thing is, it's like, oh, God. Could you imagine the phone calls, like, ringing at the Pentagon and, like, the calls that were going around? Like, do you hear what they're saying? They're telling people?
Yeah. They probably had to talk to the aliens that they were keeping underground at that point. They're like, hey, guys, I know we just, we've only been talking for a few years here. But,
a couple of your boys are dead in the desert.
Yeah.
One made it. They're like, "Bring us Zip Zap." No, it's not Zip Zap.
No, that was Zip Zap's
cousin, Rip Rap.
That was his dad. Yeah.
Right,
so Zip Zap and
Zip
Gleep Glorp, the Zip Zap, that's his dad. Gleep Glorp's dad was the other one that died. So so Gleep Glorp grew up with Zip Zap because he didn't have a dad.
Oh, okay.
So they grew up together.
Yeah.
So
they look like brothers.
Yeah. But they hung out in each other's room with like their band posters and blacklight posters. Just
hitting the space weed.
Yeah.
It's man. It's funny, like, you bring up Roswell, every time they hear it, it's like when we hear 9/11.
Yeah, it's just like...
They're just like...
It's those pictures of, like, like those old school 70s pictures of the kid's face, but then it has, like, it's like, melded into the back. There's the kid, like, the full stance, and it's just, like, that kind of thing. They're just like...
Gleep Corp's like, "Why did you say Roswell, man?"
Yeah, why did you say that name? So for decades, many UFO researchers were skeptical of the government's changed account, and in 1994, the U.S. Air Force released a report in which they conceded that the weather balloon story had been bogus. Did you watch any clips of this? It's so bad.
What was the project name they said it was
Project
a part of?
Mogul.
Mogul, yeah.
According to the 1994 explanation, the wreckage came from a spy device created for an until then classified project called Project Mogul. The device, a connected string of high-altitude balloons equipped with microphones, was designed to float furtively over the USSR, detecting sound waves at a stealth distance. These balloons would ostensibly monitor the Soviet government's attempts at testing their own atomic bomb. Because Project Mogul was a covert operation, the new report claimed a false explanation of the crash was necessary to prevent giving away details of their spy work. That doesn't explain what the other accounts of the stuff that they brought in, right?
No.
Which we're going to get to. These are the facts. This is what people said so far. This is what the government said at this point.
Passing the buck back to the Soviets again. It's all the Soviets.
Other elements of the Roswell story, namely that some eyewitnesses claim that there were alien bodies taken from the site, were explained as fallen parachute test dummies in a more extensive follow-up report in 1997, which is even more laughable. Which actually they blame completely on the show X-Files. That's why they came back to this. because after X-Files came out in the 90s, paranormal craze happened specifically on aliens. People were starting to bug the government again.
Oh.
The truth is out there.
It is. I want to believe.
Yeah, I want to believe. So, yeah. Roger Linnaeus, a historian and retired curator for the Division of Space History at the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum, says those two reports close most of the remaining questions about Roswell. Do they? No. This story has been resolved, Linnaeus says. Has absolutely every question been answered? I can't say that, but I'm not sure that there are significant holes. What?
It's like, dude, I've been to that museum. If I saw that guy, I'd be like, look, dude, your museum kicks ass, but you're a fucking asshole. That's what I would say to him.
Yep, he said, you do not divulge state secrets in the context of national security. My surmise is they probably saw the initial flying saucer explanation as a useful cover story. What? They saw something to create hysteria as a good... That means people would want to find out more.
That guy bought into the good government bullshit.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Back in elementary school.
Thanks, Ray. Donald Schmidt, a UFO researcher who has spent nearly 3 decades investigating the Roswell incident.
Donnie Schmitz?
Oh, yeah. And is the co-founder of the International UFO Museum and Research Center in Roswell, says that explanation makes little sense. The flying saucer story, he contends, was so ostentatious that it was bound to draw attention to the area.
Yeah.
Yep. With its sensitive military operations at the time. Doing so would seem highly counter to the interests of the War Department. 2 hours west of Roswell, the first atomic bomb was detonated, right? You had ongoing atomic research at Los Alamos. You had all this testing of captured German V-2 rockets at White Sands. And at Roswell, you had the first atomic bomb squadron headquartered, Schmidt says. The thought that they would have intentionally set up any type of publicity as a distraction, if anything, they needed less attention.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Right.
Smithsonian jagoff.
So another interesting aspect was Roswell's UFO from the USSR?
I'm sure they're going to say it was.
Okay. Another questionable theory advanced by the book Area 51, an uncensored history of America's top secret military base. Uncensored. They were in there.
Yeah.
They blew it wide open.
Yeah.
States that the crashed flying vehicle was neither extraterrestrial nor the work of U.S. spies. Rather, it was an unconventional plan to induce widespread American panic implemented by Soviet strongman Joseph Stalin. You like that?
Shut up.
An unnamed source, and he's not a source, who worked as an engineer at Area 51, it's Bob Lazar, for the defense contractor EG&G, told the book, I think that is Bob Lazar. I don't know. Told the book's author, Annie Jacobson, a veteran national security journalist and Pulitzer Prize nominee, that the program had been designed by Nazi concentration camp doctor Joseph Mengele.
All right.
Okay? Get ready for this.
And this is all that uncensored book?
Yeah, buckle in for this one. This is one of my favorites. According to the source, adolescent children were deformed by the Soviets to resemble aliens and then deployed in an aircraft to fly over New Mexico. According to this book, Stalin's plan was for the children to climb out and be mistaken for visitors from Mars. Panic would ensue, and America's early warning radar system would be overwhelmed with sightings of other UFOs.
So, deform the kids, let them fly the plane and land it?
Yeah.
Oh, and they messed up.
Yeah. Look, man, they were putting dogs in space a couple years later.
The deformed kids.
Yeah.
Send the kids that we've purposely deformed. How do you deform kids on purpose? When they're babies, like put plates in their head or something?
I can think of a few ways, but we'll get in trouble. You can expose them to some weird stuff.
Yeah.
That theory could go some way in explaining the wreckage described by Jesse Marcel Jr., the son of the intelligence officer named in the initial press report. Don't worry, we're going to get back to his full story.
Okay.
According to Marcel Jr.'s book, The Roswell Legacy, his father brought some of the UFO wreckage home, allowing his son to handle the debated debris before he took it to the base. Marcel Jr. wrote that the material was metallic and I could see what looked like writing. At first I thought of Egyptian hieroglyphics, but there were no animal outlines or figures. They weren't mathematical figures either. They were more like geometric symbols, squares, circles, triangles, pyramids, and the like. Isn't that the PlayStation controller?
Yeah.
Squares, circles, triangles, pyramids.
It's like Dave Chappelle said, man, aliens, they brought the PlayStations, you know?
Right. Like, better pick up the sticks, boy.
Yeah.
Marcel Jr. was 11 years old at the time. The Cold War only just beginning. Could the young boy have been reading the Cyrillic alphabet? for the first time, allowing his imagination to do the rest? I don't think so. I mean, because you would have recognized some of them as letters.
Yeah.
He said geometric. I mean, Cyrillic is weird looking, but I don't know. On this, Schmidt and Linnaeus agree it's not likely.
Yeah, no.
There's no evidence in any Soviet archives that there were such experiments as this. Come on, Soviet archives. They didn't say... No, come on. And if
what else is in the Soviet archives? Let's be... Not a lot. A lot's been kept out of the Soviet archives.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell us what happened at Dyatlov's Pass, man. Come on.
Even they don't know anymore.
Exactly. You know why? Because they don't put shit in the archives.
No. They don't. They, yeah.
Redacted.
You're goddamn right, redacted. So, all right. So, now that we have some of this little overview of it, I think we should go ahead and like break down the events that occurred in July of 1947. Right?
Go ahead and break it down.
Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot, man. So, the Roswell incident, as it's known, occurred amid the flying saucer craze of 1947. On June 26, media nationwide had reported civilian pilot Kenneth Arnold's story of seeing what became known as the flying saucers. This is that famous, the pilot who had seen these things, and he coined the phrase flying saucers. Yeah. Historians would later chronicle an over 800 copycat sightings that were reported after the Arnold story was published, which is always the way, right?
Yep.
So once again, on Saturday night, July 5th, Saturday, 1947, rancher worldwide Mac Brazel, made a trip from his remote ranch to town Corona, New Mexico. The ranch had no phone and no radio, leaving Brazel unaware of the flying saucer craze of the prior 10 days. See, there's another thing of contention there. The previous article stated that, he knew about all these things, and, but there's no phone, no TV, no radio, no nothing on his ranch. So, okay. As a result, it was not until Saturday night that Brazel connected debris he'd found 3 weeks earlier with the flying discs in the news. So he was hanging on to the stuff for like good 3 weeks. The debris, tinfoil rubber, and thin wooden beams had been scattered across a square mile of the ranch. Brazel previously had gathered it and pushed it under some brush to dispose of it. When Brazel heard stories of silvery flying discs that Saturday night in Corona, he decided to gather up his prior find. On Sunday, July 6th, Brazel dug out the debris, and on Monday, July 7th, he took it into the sheriff's office in Roswell. The sheriff called Roswell Army Airfield, which assigned the matter to Major Jesse Marcel. Brazel took Marcel back to the debris site, and the two gathered up more pieces of rubber and tinfoil. Marcel took the material home on Monday night. This is funny how they're laying this out, saying tinfoil and rubber.
Yeah, they keep saying it. Wood, tinfoil, rubber, paper.
It's almost like they've infiltrated this very article. Perhaps this very location.
You got your glasses on, so we're good.
I'm good.
I'm next to you, so your sunglass powers. I got high life. I'm cool. I'll be alright.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll just be like, ooh.
This inoculates against the alien bullet.
Ooh, Ooh, they're like, all right, he's cool.
Yeah.
And the government's like, damn right, high life.
Okay, all right. I'll take it. I'll accept it. I'm not these, government jagoffs.
Yeah, government jagoffs.
On Tuesday morning, July 8th, Marcel took the material to his base commander, Colonel William Blanchard. Blanchard reported the finding to General Roger Ramey at Fort Worth Army Airfield. There's too many of these things, man.
Yeah.
Whew! Fort Worth Army Airfield. General Ramey ordered the material flown to the same place. What? Sorry, whoever wrote this had problems.
Sure.
Anyway, Marcel boarded a B-29 Superfortress and made the flight to the airfield. Yes. So here is in its entirety the that press release issued on July 8th, which covered the flying disc. The many rumors regarding the flying disc became a reality yesterday when the intelligence office at the 509th Bomb Group of the 8th Air Force, Roswell Army Airfield, was fortunate enough to gain possession of a disc through the cooperation of one of the local ranchers and the sheriff's office of Chavez County. The flying object landed on a ranch near Roswell sometime last week. Not having phone facilities, the rancher stored the disc until such time as he was able to contact the sheriff's office, who in turn notified Major Jesse A. Marcel. Action was immediately taken, and the disc was picked up at the rancher's home. It was inspected at the Roswell Army Airfield and subsequently loaned by Major Marcel to higher headquarters. Dude.
So at that
Disc?
Yeah, they're saying disc in the press release.
Yeah.
So how do you confuse disc? So
With tinfoil,
right,
rubber, and
so,
wood.
So here's where my mind goes, right? So
Yeah.
that's the press release, right?
Yep.
That's the official press, and that's that from the military. That's the military's official statement on it at first.
That's the official
Right.
statement.
Disc. They say disc a bunch.
They say it twice.
Yeah, right. So here's what I'm thinking. The crash happens.
Yeah.
It doesn't fully explode.
Right.
A lot of pieces come off, and it goes a while on this guy's ranch.
Sure.
There's the disc.
Yeah, littered with debris.
Debris
Yeah.
all the way back.
Yeah.
So all this stuff that they initially get are pieces of metal that are coming off,
Right.
and they know it's a fucking disc. They
Yeah.
know well enough to pick it up and take it to Ohio right away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To get it out of there.
Right.
You know what I mean? As fast as they can. And a disc.
Yeah.
You already said it. How can you even go to the next...
In an official statement.
In an official statement, how can you go to the next, oh, this was a really embarrassing mistake?
Yeah.
How do you even transition
Yeah.
to that and go, oh, no disc. There wasn't a disc. Even though we said it twice in the first press release. You fucks.
Wow.
Sorry.
No, it's all good,
I'm
man.
looking at my volume. It's fucking, it's a solid beam right there. Kenny went off. Sorry,
Hey,
guys.
everyone's upset about this.
Everyone's upset about this.
They are.
Yeah.
So decades later, Roswell radio announcer Frank Joyce recalled contacting Hote by telephone to verify the release. Recalled Joyce, I said, Walter, don't run this story. If you do, you're going to be in trouble. They'll ship you out to Siberia.
No one wants to go there.
No. I remember mentioning that that was a common phrase in those days. Thanks.
Yeah. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember saying that because we all were saying it.
You know what? Blowing this wide open.
Whoa. His eyes, ladies and gents. Oh, God, he's not safe anymore.
Are we ever? No. Decades later, Roswell... I'm sorry. See what happened?
See what? Yeah, you're just
Nope.
like, no, you took it like for like, Ken's not going to the gulag alone. That's what you did there.
That's right.
You're like, I'm going to the gulag with you.
Gulag bros.
Yeah.
As soon as Marcel brought the material to General Ramey's office, both Ramey and his Chief of Staff Colonel Thomas Dubose identified the material as pieces of weather balloon kite.
Fuck off.
The FWAAF weather officer on duty explains reports that such ray wind devices were used at about 80 weather balloon stations across the country. The balloons were attached to a 6-pointed reflective device that looked like a silver star after launch. The balloon expanded with increasing altitude before bursting around 60,000 feet, with pieces then dispersing into in their fall to the ground. Then why don't they collect this shit all the time? Wouldn't this just be common whatever?
Bro, they have a room. It's a think tank, right? And in this room, they call them like, they'll bring the pocket protector brigade in, you know?
Yeah.
And they go, all right, here's what happened. How do we spin it, right?
Yeah.
So they're all there like, well, we weather balloons, they tend to do this. There's these ray winds, like they
Right.
come out and they throw it back and forth,
Right.
and the one guy's like, also you could say that it's balsa wood,
Yeah.
they do that kind of shit. And that's what they do.
Right.
They bring in the pocket protector brigade to spin it and come up with what could it be,
Yeah.
Spit some jargon at these people.
Yeah, no, totally. So as described in the July 9th, 1947 edition of the Roswell Daily Record, the local newspaper there, the balloon which held it up, if that was how it worked, must have been 12 feet long. Brazel felt measuring the distance by the sides of the room in which he sat. The rubber was smoky gray in color and scattered over an area of about 200 yards. When the debris was gathered up, the tinfoil paper, tape, and sticks made a bundle of about 3 feet thick, while the rubber made a bundle about 18 or 20 inches long and about 8 inches thick. In all, he estimated the entire lot would have weighed maybe 5 pounds. There was no sign of any metal in the area, which might have been used for an engine, and no sign of any propellers of any kind, although at least one paper fin had been glued onto some of the tinfoil. There were no words to be found anywhere on the instrument, although there were letters on some of the parts. Considerable Scotch tape and some tape with flowers printed upon it had been used in the construction. No strings or wires were to be found, but there were some eyelets in the paper to indicate that some sort of attachment may have been used. What?
So we're to believe that
a kindergarten's craft project,
some highly sophisticated, weather balloon,
yeah,
is being held together with Scotch tape and some tape with flowers on it.
I don't know.
And you're going to tell me that you confuse that for UFO, the military? Fuck.
More like UF no.
UF, bro. Damn.
Terrible.
Killing it.
On July 9th, Brazel told the Roswell Daily Record that the debris consisted of large area of bright wreckage made up of rubber strips, tinfoil, and rather tough paper and sticks. He paid little attention to it, but returned later with his wife and daughter to gather up some of the debris. On July 9th, Marcel explained, "We spent a couple of hours Monday afternoon looking for any more parts of the weather device," said Marcel. "We found a few more patches of tinfoil and rubber. That day it was reported that Brazel had reported the debris after hearing reports about flying discs and wondered if this had been what he had picked up. Then going to see Sheriff Wilcox, where he whispered kind of confidential-like that he may have found a flying disc." This sounds like a lot of after-the-fact bullshit.
I was just thinking that it's like, God, official narratives are so easy to just, because there's so many people that want to be a part of something.
Yeah.
They're just like, yeah, I'll say whatever you want me to say. Can I be a part of it? You know, and they're like, all right, you know, as long as someone comes in and whispers to them, don't tell anyone. People jump at the opportunity. People are they want to please. They want to, you know.
Yeah.
Oh God, let me be a part of your world.
Yeah.
I need validation.
Because it starts with, "You want to hear something?"
Yeah.
And then you're like, "Yes,
Yeah, please.
yes, tell me."
Yeah.
So are you ready to dive into these conspiracy theories?
You mean the truth? Yeah.
Yes.
I'm ready to dive into the truth.
So after the initial newspaper reports of
Yeah, it's
1947,
a fucking alien craft that crashed.
easy,
Sorry.
easy. That comes later.
The shirt. It's the shirt that, you know.
Only here for the music.
Yeah, sorry.
It's fine.
These are my brothers, you know?
Okay. Interesting.
Zip Zap Gleek, pour one out for Roswell.
Yes. So after the initial newspaper reports of 1947, the Roswell incident faded from public attention for more than 30 years, when interest reemerged in the late 1970s. The Roswell incident was featured in films, TV shows, and books amid increasingly complex conspiracy theories. Multiple hoaxes and legends about alien bodies were incorporated into the Roswell mythos.
Oh, yeah, I wonder why.
Yeah. The story with the nurse?
Yeah.
Sick. We'll get there.
Drawing on the napkin.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
The trend culminated in 1995's purported footage of an alien autopsy, which filmmakers later revealed to be a hoax, though they preferred the term reconstruction.
I actually read an article recently where
It's definitely fake.
yeah, but like a government official was like, yeah, no, that's fake, but it was a reconstruction of what we actually saw. Like, I was like, okay, well, why did they do that?
Yeah.
Why did you have to reconstruct the video of what was actually there?
Yeah.
Fuck.
I saw the thing that took them down was, and we'll get to this later, but the thing that took them down was some guy noticed. He was like, the cord on the phone, they didn't have that cord in that year. And I was like, attention to details.
Yeah, and they were like, shit.
If they didn't fuck that up, we'd still be talking about that.
Oh,
thing.
yeah, totally.
It's like, it's the Patterson-Gimlin film and the alien autopsy video.
Right.
They're ironclad.
I still like the alien interrogation video from the Fox's the UFO one, right?
Wasn't it called Rubber or something, or Johnny or something?
No, not that. No, not that one.
Oh,
not the blah, 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 not that one.
Okay.
The one where it's the ET's head and the doctor comes in with the light.
Oh, yeah.
And it's it starts freaking out.
Yes,
I like that
yes.
one.
That is also
even
a
though
good
you
one.
just see the bus, which is the dead giveaway.
So in February, Ken, of 1978. UFO researcher, the legendary Stanton Friedman, interviewed Jesse Marcel. Okay, remember him, Mr. You fucking kidding me with this stuff?
Yeah.
The only person known to have accompanied the Roswell debris from where it was recovered to Fort Worth
We should get a T-shirt made with that picture and say, "Are you fucking kidding me with this stuff?" We should get that done.
That you know what? That would actually be pretty awesome because I'd be into that big time.
Be wearing that shit all the time is what you'd be.
It's true. That might be the T-shirt that and then on the bottom just Other Dangerous Podcast.
T-shirts.
Where was I? So Stanton Friedman interviewed Jesse Marcel, only person known to have accompanied the Roswell debris from where it was recovered to Fort Worth, where reporters saw material that was claimed to be part of the recovered object. Marcel's statements contradicted those made to the press in 1947. In November 1979, Marcel's first filmed interview was featured in a documentary titled UFOs Are Real, co-written by Tom DeLonge. Now,
UFOs are real. Duh. That's what I wanted to say.
Right. The film had a limited release, but was later syndicated for broadcasting. So on February 28th, 1980, sensationalist tabloid The National Enquirer brought large-scale attention to the Marcel story.
And Bad Boy.
Yeah. And Sasquatch, like, impregnating all these women. Yeah. On September 20th, 1980, the TV series In Search Of aired an interview with Marcel describing his participation in the 1947 press conference. Quote, "They wanted some comments from me, but I wasn't at liberty to do so all I could do is keep my mouth shut. And General Ramey is the one who told the newspapers, the newsmen, what it was and to forget about it. It is nothing more than a weather observation balloon. Of course, we both knew differently." Marcel gave a final interview to HBO's America's Undercover, which aired in August of 1985. In all his statements, Marcel consistently denied the presence of bodies. Between the 1978 and early 1990s, UFO researchers such as Stanton Friedman, William Moore, Carl Flock, and the team of Kevin D. Randall and Donald Schmidt interviewed several dozen people who claimed to have had a connection with the events at Roswell in 1947.
And Tom DeLonge.
Sure, I'm sure he was there. I'm sure he's the one that actually brokered the deal between the aliens and the humans.
Yeah. He's like, "Have you heard Angels and Airways?" They're like, "Take it.
Get him out of here.
Take the info and just go."
Yeah, just get out of here. In October 1980, Marcel's story was featured in the book The Roswell Incident. They're calling us. You see that? Fuck.
Yeah, put him back on, dude. Trying to take us down? We're just getting started, bro.
I can't compromise my position here.
Yeah, right.
All right, sorry. The authors had previously written popular books on such fringe topics as the Philadelphia Experiment, boom, and the Bermuda Triangle. Though
God, if that happened, really, the Philadelphia Experiment, like,
dude,
Jesus Christ. Sorry to keep interrupting, but
I don't want to derail, but the Philadelphia Experiment, happened in the Philadelphia Navy Yard, which is not too far from where we're sitting right now.
Yep.
The USS Cyclops.
I saw History Channel do a reenactment
and the
USS
of that one
time,
Eldridge, yeah.
And even that was terrifying.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, History Channel. Like,
yeah, that they came out and, like, after it happened, there were men were, like, melded to the metal.
Yeah, and, like, the one guy was, like, screaming from, like, the help. Oh, God. Sorry.
Yeah. I love it so much.
Green mist over the ship, you know, that Einstein designed. Like, I don't, like...
Dude, I feel like Tesla was involved.
Yeah?
Yeah, he wasn't really dead.
He knew some shit.
We should do a Tesla episode.
We should do a Tesla
But we should do, like, the unconfirmed Tesla shit episode.
Like he was in that game, the game 1847 or whatever, where
that
you were, like, you're hunting werewolves.
And he also made machines for magicians.
And he was David Bowie.
The only guy who could play him.
Right.
Okay, the book's narrative hold that an alien craft was flying over the New Mexico desert, observing U.S. nuclear weapons activity, but crashed after being hit by lightning. Killing the aliens on board, a government cover-up duly followed. Historian Kathy Olmsted writes that book's narrative has come to be known as version 1 of the Roswell myth. Berlitz and Moore's narrative was dominant until the late 1980s, when other authors, attracted by the commercial potential of writing about Roswell, started producing rival accounts. So the Roswell incident featured accounts of debris described by Marcel as nothing made on this Earth. That's when that started. Okay. Additional accounts by Bill Brazel. Is this Mac? WW? Oh, no, sorry. That's son of Mac Brazel. He's more like neighborhood, not really. Friendly neighborhood, not worldwide.
Right.
Sorry.
Guy down the street.
I'm not having a stroke. Sorry, folks. Neighbor Floyd Proctor and Walt Whitman Jr., son of newsman W.E. Whitman, who had interviewed Mac Brazel, suggested the material Marcel recovered had super strength not associated with a weather balloon. The book introduced the contention that debris which was recovered by Marcel at the Foster Ranch, visible in photographs showing Marcel posing with the debris, was substituted for debris from a weather device as part of the cover-up. Right?
Yeah.
The book also claimed that the debris recovered from the ranch was not permitted a close inspection by the press. The efforts by the military were described as being intended to discredit and counteract the growing hysteria towards flying saucers.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, 2 accounts of witness intimidation were included in the book, including the incarceration of Mac Brazel. The authors claim to have interviewed over 90 witnesses, though the testimony of only 25 appear in the book. Only 7 of these people claim to have seen the debris. Of these, 5 claim to have handled it. Right? So,
Imagine handling UFO parts,
what about?
and then they tell you no. You know?
Yeah, like no, you didn't see that.
Yeah, and you're like, it was on my fucking kitchen floor.
Yeah.
It was we were.
Yeah.
Dad cut it with a knife in it.
Yeah, I know what I saw.
You know, like, no.
No. What about alien bodies? Okay. The Roswell incident was the first book to introduce the controversial secondhand stories of civil engineer Grady Barnett and a group of archaeology students from an unidentified university encountering wreckage and alien bodies while on the plains of San Augustine before being escorted away by the army.
So they were just out there,
Yeah.
and then like when the crash happened,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Yo."
Well, I think what happened was, like you said before, right? So it crashed, so it hits by a lightning bolt, right?
Yeah.
Falls, skids, whatever. Maybe it's falling apart as it's coming out of the sky. It also skids, leaves all this. And then later we'll get to it. It embeds itself into the side of this mountain, or this bluff, right? Mm-hmm. These archaeology students are out there. They come across it.
Dude.
Imagine that coming over a hill and you're just like...
Yeah. Yeah. How amazing, how terrifying, how... Red Dead Redemption, you know?
Right.
That's some shit you would, like, you're on your horse and you come around and you're like, whoa!
And there's Man Bear Pig.
Yeah, right. Oh, man, that's so fucking scary. That's so scary.
Yes.
A foreign alien machine embedded.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, it's like probably like steaming and shit, you know?
And like, by that point, it would have been there for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, the bodies are probably a little,
Road rash,
stale.
Yeah, a little road rash, a little stale. One of them's still alive, like, to prevent war. What is word? Galaxy is on Orion's. What is word? Belt. And then he dies.
Yeah. And the light goes out behind him.
Yeah.
It's a good effect. Giant eyeballs.
Yeah.
That was just a deformed kid from the USSR.
How did they make him that small? Raise him like veal, keep him in a cage.
I don't know, man. Russia's a wacky place. It continues to be this to this day. So many alleged first-hand accounts of the Roswell incident actually contain information from the Aztec, New Mexico UFO incident, a hoaxed flying saucer crash, which gained national notoriety after being promoted by journalist Frank Scully in his articles. That was probably Dana Scully's dad.
Yeah.
And a 1950 book, Behind the Flying Saucers. The hoax included stories of humanoid bodies and metals with unusual properties. But this was after the fact.
It'd be funny if that book was just pictures of like stuff behind flying saucers.
Yeah.
It's like there's a cow behind this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, look, it's someone's t-shirt.
Yeah.
It's behind you.
Yes. 1991, right? Then we have the UFO crash at Roswell, another book. So in the 1991 book, Kevin Randall and Donald Schmidt published UFO Crash at Roswell. They added testimony from 100 new witnesses.
Whoa.
All right?
Where'd they find these fucks?
In the UFO.
Behind the UFO.
Under the UFO. They got hit and they got dragged underneath. They're like, let us tell our story. And like, they, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. The government was like, no, stay under there.
Yeah, till 91.
Till 91, then it's fine.
Yeah.
The statute of limitations,
You know
I'm going
what
to be
I'm taking
retired.
from this, though?
What's that?
What I'm taking from this is, like, we should just write a book on Roswell and we'd be, you know, we'd have money. Just call it, like, Breaking Truth Inside UFOs.
This is the cover.
Roswell. Yeah.
And there's aliens reflected in the lenses.
Yeah.
Right?
I would love it. we'd
The cruise ship crashing behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so they added the 100 new witnesses, including those who reported an elaborate military cordon and debris recovery operation at the Foster Ranch. The book included the new claims of a gouge that extended 400 or 500 feet at the ranch. So that's where it landed and scraped.
Right. And bounced a couple times, probably.
Probably, but so what that it added it in 91? If these people were being like intimidated by Army officers, or like people just kind of had the idea, they're like, you know, maybe we should not talk about this at all.
And then they saw that everyone survived that did talk.
Right. So Randall and Schmidt reported General Arthur Exxon had been directly aware of debris and bodies, but Exxon disputed his depiction, saying his comments had been based exclusively on secondhand rumors. Yeah.
I love, like, he's like, yeah, I'm aware. You know, he's just like, I know. I just picture some grumpy fucking guy.
Yeah, and just like, yeah, but I didn't do that.
Yeah.
But what you did, you do. It's classified.
Yeah. Can't sing.
Yep. Can't, man.
Yeah, can't.
Also in 1991, retired United States Air Force Brigadier General Thomas Dubose, who had been posed with debris for press photographs in 1947, publicly acknowledged the weather balloon cover story, corroborating Marcel's previous admissions. So it's a cover story of a cover story.
I love that. I love that you could just keep something under wraps so long, and then like you get to a point where you're like, yeah, we covered it up, and no one cares.
Yeah.
And no one cares.
No, like they just dropped the iPhone 13.
Yeah.
I don't care. The Barnett alien body accounts were mentioned in the 1991 book, though the dates and locations were changed from the accounts found in the 1980s, the Roswell incidents. In this new account, Brazel was described as leading the Army to a second crash site on the ranch, at which point the Army personnel were supposedly horrified to find civilians, including Barnett, there already. So that's the full story, is that, yeah, he found that little shit, but then there was the second site where the actual crash was.
In the bluff.
Yeah.
And they were horrified that, oh no.
Like, fuck, they're already here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you got Tom DeLonge down there. He's like, where are you?
The aliens landed.
Yep.
Sleeping here tonight. I don't know.
Catching things and eating their insides. That's what he was talking about, the aliens.
Yeah. Fuck that band.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Yeah. Actually, you know what? Yeah, kind of fuck that band.
Yeah, really fuck that band.
Travis Barker.
He's a great drummer, but, I don't care.
Kardashians. Okay. So, the mortician's purported eyewitness account. Love this part.
Yeah, I have yeah, go ahead.
All right. UFO crash at Roswell from 1991 prominently featured the stories of mortician Glenn Dennis. On September 20th, 1989, an episode of Unsolved Mysteries had included... I feel it.
Is it Robert Stack's birthday?
Today is Robert Stack's birthday.
Friday the 13th, Robert Stack's birthday.
Yes, January 13th was his birthday. He has crossed beyond the wall of sleep, but he is still very much with us. So much so that we're probably going to play a clip of him right now.
What if your mind worked like a television set? What if you could change channels at will, tune into programs no one else could see? And what if you could never turn the set off? The idea of a creature larger than a gorilla with an odor like a skunk might seem far-fetched. Tupac Shakur was executed by a hired assassin. So that anyone can become famous overnight. Tears in the fabric indicate that Don had been stabbed before he was run over by the train. The horrors of a Nazi concentration camp. The two men, one black, one white, were in their late 20s or early 30s. In this country, they had earned their way into a respectable middle-class life. The men in black had been under the influence of marijuana. The Dream Factory. Christmas Miracle. Fact, fantasy, and history have come together to tease the imagination. We scream, we jump, we laugh, and we go home.
Nobody can do it like the Stackmeister.
Just pops on the Stack brass knuckles, fucking...
Yeah, he got shit done, man.
Pieces up a couple ghosts and aliens.
What do you think it was like on the set with him?
Probably fucking...
Do you think you could hear a pin drop?
Yeah. Like, he walks in, everyone's like, shit.
Yeah.
But he had his boys, though. He had his dudes. Like, he would, walk around, like, just see how scared they were? They would high five,
Yeah, they'd hype him.
Yeah.
They're like, yo, Bobby S is coming.
Yeah.
They're just like, fuck.
Yeah. He's got his little office. They'll hang out there. They're all drinking all the time. And he comes out. It's just smoky because they're all chain smoking in
Bobby
there.
Stacks? You think that's what they call them?
Yeah, Bobby Stacks, man. Bobby Stacks is coming.
Yeah. I would not want to fuck with that guy. Sorry. See, every time they mention Unsolved Mysteries, it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah. So the episode of Unsolved Mysteries had included secondhand stories of the Barnett seeing alien bodies captured by the Army. Mortician Dennis had called the show's hotline claiming to have knowledge of the events. I love it.
Yeah.
Dennis claimed to have received 4 or 5 calls from Airbase with questions about body preservation and inquiries about small or hermetically sealed caskets. I remember watching this episode when I was a kid. I was like, what the fuck?
I watched it. I remember watching it 2 years ago.
Yeah.
When I was back on my Unsolved Mysteries kick.
Yeah, I'm never off the kick. It's a constant rotation. Just like X-Files. I just keep it going.
It's a lot of X-Files.
Yeah, and then when it's done, you just restart again. Sorry. He further claimed that a local nurse told him she had witnessed an alien autopsy. Dennis's stories of Roswell alien autopsies were the first account to allege alien corpses at the Roswell Army base. Flock observed that Dennis's story sounds like a B-grade thriller conceived by Oliver Stone. All right, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
So that account when they all right, so what? He sees the nurse and she's like, "Hey, I gotta talk to you." So they go to like the mess hall or something, right? And they're off to like the side,
it's like
right?
a diner on the premises,
right?
Yeah.
So she's like, and she's like real fucking scared. She's like, "There's something,
looking over her shoulder
yeah,
and shit."
Yeah, she didn't have glasses on.
Yeah, right.
Oh shit. She's she's like looking over her shoulders. They're talking. She's like, I was in there, very busy. I see something's going on. I look in and like I kind of stumble in there, and she's like, and she sees. First she describes the smell, right?
Yeah.
That it's like a smell that she never smelled before, but it was like the worst thing ever. They had to keep walking in and out and like fucking getting air, and like they're almost like puking and shit. She gets in there and they're cutting up an alien.
Yeah.
A fucking alien.
I remember that scene in the movie. I remember being a kid. My mom goes let's watch this, and like she's in the and she draws it on the napkin to the guy. I remember
And she burns it.
Yeah, but I just remember being like, my child brain. I was like, this is. I'm watching it happen right now.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a wiretap, right? Like those shows make you think that you're like watching like a wire or video tap, like you're the fly on the wall. You're like, these are the actual incidents as they unfolded.
Yep.
You're watching what happened between these two, and it was so well played. Because was that from the Unsolved Mysteries episode, or was that from the Kyle MacLachlan movie where he played Jesse Marcel?
It was from that movie, but I think they might have done something similar too in that. Our reenactors.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sightings.
Yep. Oh god, Sightings too. So in September of 1991, Dennis co-founded a UFO museum in Roswell, along with former RAF Public Affairs Officer Walter Hote and Max Littell, a real estate salesman. Dennis appeared in multiple documentaries repeating his story. Randall deemed Glenn Dennis as one of the least credible Roswell witnesses. This guy, I could never this guy. Randall said Dennis was not credible for changing the name of the nurse once he had proved she didn't exist. Well, he said from the beginning he didn't want to use her real name.
Yeah.
So of course he's going to put in something else. I'm not saying that like this is ironclad, but like that's not,
This guy's another one of those think tank pocket protector fucks,
Yeah.
I proved that she didn't exist. Ooh.
Oh, this guy. You ready for scientific skeptic author Brian Dunning? You know him, Skeptoid. That guy. Then they found out he was like guilty of like income tax fraud and like all this other shit.
Yeah.
Some gambling fraud, something else. His podcast sucks. Concurs that Dennis cannot be regarded as a reliable witness, considering that he had seemingly waited over 40 years before he started recounting a series of unconnected events. What are you talking about? Hold on. Such events, Dunnings argues, were then arbitrarily joined to form what has become the most popular narrative of the alleged alien crash. So, wait. So if he's saying that he had to not say anything for a long time... All right, let's put this on that. Let's say all this is real, right? We'll get to this part of the show. All this is real. You're a doctor, you're getting calls from the local military airbase. Some wacky shit occurs. Some guy probably says, do not repeat anything that happened here today.
Right.
Do you think 40 years might go by before you might say, ooh, everybody else is saying stuff and nothing's happened to them?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna tell my thing.
Well, that was kind of my thinking about it for a long time. The requesting the child size coffins.
Yeah.
Like at first I was like that sounds like an added added spice to the story.
Yes.
Like someone making it up. But then I was thinking like these are military servicemen, they're probably from a small town, a lot of them, and they're like, they got to have some kind of religion, sir, like something like that, and like,
okay, we
got to give them a proper burial, because I'm like, no, the government's going to burn these fucking things.
Oh, they're not going to burn them.
Or keep in a tube, somewhere, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, maybe that guy just had like a moment of like, I gotta see what's up with these coffins to bury these people, because he's like, they're people, but they're, extraterrestrials.
Yes.
So I don't know. I for a long time I was like, that kind of ruins it for me. But now I'm thinking, no, it's a human, like a human having these thoughts that we gotta, these.
Yeah.
They reminds me of my niece, sir.
It's terrible, sir. Something needs to be done, sir.
Yeah.
These pukes. It's like, all right.
Yeah.
They're just like, even the general's like, Take him back to the base. So then in 1992, Stanton Friedman once again released Crash at Corona, co-authored with Dan Berliner.
Sounds right.
Okay. The book introduced new witnesses and added to the narrative by doubling the number of flying saucers to 2 and the number of aliens to 8, 2 of which were said to have survived and been taken into custody by the government. In 1994, Randall and Schmidt authored another book, The Truth About the UFO Crash at Roswell, which included a claim that alien bodies were taken by cargo plane to be viewed by Dwight D. Eisenhower, current president.
Yeah.
Right? So the existing of so many differing accounts led to a schism among ufologists about the events at Roswell. The Center for UFO Studies, CUFOS, and the Mutual UFO Network, MUFON. You can get your membership card like in a day.
We should do it.
Let's do it. Okay.
We'll wear them, like,
yeah.
whatever, like, yeah.
We'll go to, like, conventions, wear glasses, and just notepads. Just
if someone asks what we're doing, we just...
Official business.
Yeah. And we see a plane.
Every once in a while, just go like this. Okay.
Move alongside.
Yep. Two leading UFO societies disagreed in their views of the various scenarios presented by the Randall, Schmidt, and Friedman Berliner. Several conferences were held to try to resolve the differences. One issue under discussion was that Barnett was, when he saw the alien craft, he was said to have encountered. So he's saying two different things, I guess. A 1992 UFO conference attempted to achieve a consensus among the various scenarios played in Crash at Corona and UFO Crash at Roswell. However, the publication of The Truth About the UFO Crash at Roswell resolved the Barnett problem by simply ignoring Barnett and citing a new location for the alien craft recovery, including a new group of archaeologists not connected to the ones the Barnett story cited. So these are all the claims kind of put out there. And I think this is a good spot to put a pin in it.
I was about to say that
for the first episode, because then we're going to go down a real wacky rabbit hole after this, because you thought the previous Russian idea was weird. We got some more.
Can't wait.
Yep.
I like my favorite, one of them all besides the nurse.
Yep.
The archaeology students coming around the cliff or whatever.
Dude, I was watching one the other day.
And just like,
when I was listening to the ones the other day, there was ones that were talking about that one. Remember we were talking about Bob Lazar, where he talked about, where do we get the ships from? Roswell. And there was one that was recovered from an archaeological site. And then he just stops. So anyway, there's other information on that. Who knows? But apparently it was found like inside a Mayan pyramid. Yes, that's where it should be.
Yes. Yeah. We're going with that.
Yeah.
And
that's where I want it to be.
Yeah. We're gonna save our judgments for Chum Bucket, Bench, whatever, a barbecue for the second episode.
Yep.
But you already know where I'm leaning.
Oh yeah.
Just coming around. It's.
We better end this episode now. I think they got our location.
All right, guys. For this episode of Other Dangers Podcast, I'm Ken James.
And I'm Jason McKittrick.
And as always, I'm Spooky Ian. Thank you for listening to Other Dangers Podcasts. Have you encountered the other dangers? If so, you can email us at otherdangerspodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to have a discussion about the paranormal, you can find us at Other Dangers Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. There you can find submitted pictures, videos, and artwork from listeners. We are now streaming on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else podcasts are streamed. And after listening, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can continue to bring you the other dangers.